This is what they
Warzone victory song.
Enough
It's supposed to fade out.
Enough of that.
All right. Well, okay.
We're doing it live.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome. This is episode 20 of Entertain This, a podcast about movies, TV shows, and video games. I'm Hayden, and with me I have, who may have a big mouth, but his kitty spread is even bigger, Tom.
Hello.
And our comic book aficionado, Mitch.
And your wrinkly shirt.
Yeah, shirt.
I said shirt.
With an accent.
Yeah, I was doing a bit of an Alan Rickman.
All right. What you looking at there on your phone?
Porn. There's a time and a place.
You know, we are doing an episode here.
I can see the reflection in your glasses.
It's not my fault. You started before I was.
Well, anyways,
We said it like 4 minutes ago. It's like, all right, we're ready. You're just like,
these are the two partners in crime here, and today is a very special episode because we have a guest speaker. It's you.
yes, you, the audience.
You all participated in a wonderful poll for our top 10.
Movies audience loved, but critics hated.
Yep, and you, being the audience, voted on it. So we will get to that shortly, and maybe name drop some people who contributed. So thanks so much for this is what 5 months, 4 months, 5 months now, 5 months now of doing this podcast.
Yeah, we're in month 5 now.
We're growing. We've been seen by over 8,000 people, and you know, now that we have enough friends and acquaintances out there to
We've made friends.
to participate.
The same
you know.
25 people who comment and like all of our stuff, and then the 80 other people who just look at it and just keep scrolling.
Hey, you know,
But thank you for looking.
We are growing. So, yeah, we appreciate your input, and we hope to grow continuously. And because honestly, the more information you give us, is the less work we have to do. So
It makes our lives a lot easier.
okay, well, let's kick this off with punishment review. Who had that punishment?
Yeah, who was it
For the
again?
life of me, I can't remember.
Who possibly else could it have been?
Oh yeah,
Point.
Oh, yeah.
Mitch. This is like your second punishment or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Times 2.
It wouldn't be a
Plus
typical
1.
Plus, is this number 5 in a row?
Yes.
If you like seeing Mitch punished,
Just
Man.
tune in. Well,
just
it's going to happen.
send us a message. I'll be more than happy to put what other stuff you want him to play or watch
It doesn't
on the
seem
wheel.
to matter. You just spin it and I still get it anyway.
The
We'll
wheel
just take
has
a-
chosen you.
We'll
as
take a
its
vote. We'll take a
beatings
vote to
person.
rename the punishment wheel to just Mitch's wheel.
Mitch's wheel. The Mitch wheel.
All right, cool. Well, what were you punished with there, Mitchell?
The horribly CGI looking.
Well, it's a video
knockoff-
game.
Yeah, well, yeah,
It was a video game.
barely.
So it's
That I looked up that episode after I got it because I wasn't expecting to. And you had already played the game I suggested.
what is the game? Say the game.
Oh, the game for this today is Eternity: The Last Unicorn.
Okay, that's what you watched gameplay for because it was for PlayStation for something?
PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
It looked like it was on PlayStation 2.
right. So
Like first gen PlayStation.
did you look at by any chance how much it would cost to buy this game?
I did not,
I wonder.
but I'd have to buy a PlayStation 4 first.
Yeah, I just wonder if it's
Yeah.
still like selling at full price or if they're
people-
like.
Well, the people that
Talk
played it
about
said
it. I'll
they.
look it up.
Yeah.
People that played it said I think they said it was $16, $15.99.
Okay.
But
On Play Store or
I'm
whatever
assuming
the-
it was on PS4.
whatever the hell the
They were talking
Xbox
about
store is.
that you can buy it on Steam also, but it
Yeah.
was not worth it.
Yeah. So you would describe this game as a knockoff of what?
It's trying to be like a Lord of the Rings game.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, like it's that kind of fairies and trolls
Okay.
and goblins and
And I heard it was something to do with Dark Souls, like a rip
Well-
off of Dark Souls.
well, as far as the difficulty, yes.
Yeah.
It's $20.
20
20
bucks.
bucks.
20 bucks too much though.
Yeah, because I think these people from England, so I guess that was their pounds that they were playing. But this game, like,
Is it an American game? Or Japanese or something?
I don't know. It's PS4, it's an everybody game.
Developed-
PS4.
It was on Xbox One.
Oh, was
saying
it?
it's on there for the platform. Came out 2019.
Oh, great, Mitch. You
When I
just
w-
totally shammed out on doing that game, didn't you?
Oh well, Punishment 5, bite me.
Because according to Google users, 27% like this video game.
Yeah.
It has a 6 out of 10 rating on Steam. Metacritic gave it 36%. And
Oh, hey,
it's
it did
gone up.
WCCF Tech 3.5 out of 10.
It did better than The Last of Us 2.
It was at 30% on Reddit, Metacritic when they reviewed it.
Really?
So somebody,
What if you had to do out of 10? What would your review be?
if I had to play this game, it would probably be it top a 3.
All right.
Because it was just them walking back
All
and
right.
forth and finding stuff, and then
Well, that's like what Lord of the Rings is. There's
So
a lot of walking.
let's break it down though. So this game is a fantasy magic game. Is there like classes that you can play as?
no, you're just the main character.
So you're just this
There's
dude.
a pure blood elf.
No, you're this
Woman.
woman.
You're a woman who has just swords or something. Does she,
A sword.
a one sword.
Yeah.
So what is the like worth of playing this game? Do you get upgrades or anything like that
You level up.
to get better hacking abilities? Can you do like 2 hacks now?
No.
What's the point?
Exactly. Evidently, I mean, your stats go up when you rank up,
So you can take more damage or something?
but I mean,
That's boring. That's all like passive crap that nobody cares about.
and you have a heavy attack and
Yeah.
a light attack, and that's it.
Well,
You can't like combo or anything, or
Not really. Not from what they showed. I mean, maybe later on in the game you can learn stuff like that, but they were just like, yeah.
it's like RuneScape. It's just like, huh.
yeah, but RuneScape was free in like
It was
40 years ago. So
Yes, I
mean,
remember playing that in like middle school.
Yeah.
6th grade on on computers because that was at a time where they didn't block all that stuff.
Don't they
yet.
have that crap for your phone now? Can't you play RuneScape on your phone?
I can play Call of Duty on my phone.
That's true. So
I can play PUBG on my phone.
I'm just thinking, like, I think the future of MMOs is for your cell phones. But anyway, I digress.
This was, I mean, it was horrible. Like when you look at it, it looked like the maldeformed, like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 graphics. Like that they didn't have smooth like features. It was like blocky face.
Yeah.
Like the
Donkey Kong mode.
like the leaves and stuff. Instead of looking like leaves, it was like a flat surface that they just meshed a bunch of them together. So it was bad.
This is a 2019 game.
Yes.
It was probably like a first game for a startup company. And
They said that supposedly the developers, I don't know who it was, but they supposedly developed it for 6 years to make this game.
It was Void Studios was the developer on this.
they probably had like a skeleton crew working on it.
Some of their games
We've
that
never
just
heard of.
disappeared.
Yeah.
I didn't hear. Let's see. Omen Sight.
Never heard of it. What year was that? Was that before the
Yeah, I don't know.
unicorn game?
I don't know.
All right. Well, I think so. It's a crappy game.
Yeah.
What was like the most boring part like of the game? Like the one thing you're just like, what is going on?
I watched 2 hours of gameplay. They never finished the first level because you get to this point where you only have the 2 attacks. 4 enemies show up. You got to fight them off. Well, then by the time you fight them off, you're pretty much about dead because anything more than 2 enemies, it's pretty much hard to defeat.
Really?
Well, as soon as they die, 4 more pop up.
So can you like block? Do you have a shield? Like
You could like dash, but it's not very far.
it's like you dodge, enemy 1's attack to
Yeah.
just get hit in the face by enemy 2.
Oh, and when you go into your mini map, like to take a potion to heal or whatever,
It doesn't pause the game, does it? Wow.
So, is there some semblance of a plot, or do you have any idea what was going on? Was there cutscenes?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It says, the last unicorn. Well, when you start the game up, you're standing there next to the last unicorn.
So it's an actual horse with the horn. It's
Yes.
it's a legit. You have to save just that unicorn
I guess, but
or protect it.
it's in this place where you start and then you go off on some mission. They didn't bother to read the 5 pages of backstory to this. They just kind of fast forwarded through that.
It's just like
done.
dumb. All right, let's go.
Well, they were talking about it's like I don't play a video game to read a book because I mean
That is true.
it was just page after page after page.
I expect a voiceover narration. I want it read to me.
Yeah.
There was no voiceovers either. When they started talking, it was just like subtitle dialogue at the bottom.
Ugh.
You just click.
That
I
sounds-
mean, I don't mind a little
hate
bit of
that.
that kind of stuff, but like if it's the entirety of the game, especially if it's like a game that you don't care about,
especially if it's major plot.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't mind like in Skyrim, like you're going through a dungeon, you find a book, you could or a journal for like during a quest, and you read 2 quick pages,
Yeah.
and it's like 8 lines of text on
Yeah.
a book page, and it's like all right. I can.
I think that
gloss
is
through that cool.
I think that is the problem with most video games today is that they have the ability to make it so you can at least have a narrator read the stuff to you while you're continuing to play. so it's not so interrupting to stop and read a book
Yeah.
in the middle of a game.
For
you
a
know?
casual play, it should like the main plot points should be narrated,
Right.
or cutscened, whatever.
One of my favorite games is called Prey. I don't know if you guys ever played it.
I've heard of it. I never played it.
There's a lot of like logs and stuff like that you can pick up, and you just hit the play button, and the guy will read it, and you can go on. It's kind of disturbing because like it's a horror science fiction game, so you'll go into the next room and get attacked by a creepy monster, and by the time you kill it and you're barely alive, you had no idea what that guy was talking about, so you might have to go back and replay it, but. It beats just sitting there, just falling asleep to text on the screen. So,
Well, I mean, this game was trying to develop itself as a Lord of the Rings level of lore, but you just had to read it all before you started. And you would encounter characters, and it wouldn't give you any idea who they were. You had to go look it up and read a whole other page of stuff.
In terms of like calibers of lore, like Lord of the Rings is like on top of Everest.
Yeah,
and they look down at everybody else.
But I'm just saying that they expected you to read all this stuff about all these
you're
characters.
merely insulting Tom just by mentioning Lord of the Rings in context.
But that's what I'm saying.
He's not insulting it. He's like saying like they
I know.
try to aspire to like
Yeah.
the highest
How dare
level
you.
of lore.
How
But
dare
they're
you.
just starting out on this game that nobody knows anything about, and you're supposed to know it or read 3 pages about this one character. It's like, I
Yeah.
don't care.
I always thought it was like pure blood elf woman and like it saves
Yeah.
75% of humanity. It's like just 70. Like what about the other 25?
They weren't good enough.
Those are like the not pure blood elves
Yeah.
or dwarves, and they're just like, nah.
And then
Get outta here.
When you kill character or like enemies and stuff, you got to harvest like pieces and potions and put them all together.
You have like cut
for-
someone's
It's kind
ears
of like
off.
a Witcher thing. I mean, if you're looking for a video game that goes into Lord of the Rings, close to Lord of the Rings,
I will say
depth,
Witcher 3 is definitely up there.
yeah, and like there's backstory about everything in that game. So.
If you want to play a game along those lines, anything but this one.
Yeah. Plus, The Witcher, like it does have a lot of reading, but it also has a lot of voiceover narration too. So
I would say The Witcher 3 and Skyrim
yeah,
in terms of just
Well,
good
this had
lore.
Witcher 1 graphics.
Witcher 1. That's saying a lot. I mean, hey, people want to break out into the video game industry. I think the problem is for most video games that for these breakout companies is they make up their own story, and they might have a really good writer, and maybe this unicorn crap is a good story or whatever, but nobody's gonna play a good story video game with crappy gameplay. I mean,
No, it doesn't matter how good the story
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
how good lore. If it's crap, it's crap.
a lot of what people do is they buy IPs or they buy the ability to make a story based like The Witcher, for instance. It was this IP that nobody knew outside of Poland. Okay, and then this CD Projekt Red bought the rights to do the video game, and they were able to. And in the first game is pretty trash. It's not great,
Yeah.
but it's not horrible either. It was enough to carry the franchise onto whatever the amazingness
To
is.
at least
then.
the second game.
Yeah, which blew up from there. And because they already had all of that lore and stuff built for them from Sapkowski, the guy who wrote the books, they were able to just focus on gameplay and just rip right from the books some of the most authentic lore, which I think probably saved them a lot of time as opposed to coming up with their new crap for a new video game. So,
Yeah. Well, my last little tidbit before we move on, they actually referred back to my first punishment of
yeah?
big rigs.
no.
They said that's probably the only game that's worse than this one.
No way.
Really?
They did.
Well, Mitch, you're
who
becoming quite the aficionado.
of horrible.
Comic books and horrible video
They
games.
said at least you could play this and it didn't just break.
That's true. That's true.
So,
That's
yeah, it
funny.
was bad.
Wow. Well, cool. Hey, if you've got any ideas, not your audience out there are very much involved, and hey, we might do an episode one day on top 10 Mitch's punishments. So
I think we have enough to do.
we
with
do.
We
10.
have 10.
We have 10.
So,
It could be done.
throw out some horrible ideas, and some of those gross movies that you losers out there that like to joke with us about. I'm looking at you. Kicks Creative. We ain't about that life. But if you want to throw out some horrible bad movies like Galaxy of Terror, for instance, is a good one. We'll add it to the list, and I think Tom has already added a couple to the list. So, okay, cool. Well, there goes our punishment review. Let's move on to news and reviews. And each week we do some research on movies, TV shows, and video games that are coming out, and we review.
Research.
I did a little fair bit of research, and we review something of the same platform and talk about it. So I'll go first. I did TV this week, and I watched the show Hannibal. Have you seen Hannibal?
I have not seen the show.
Have you seen Hannibal?
I have not.
That's the one with the Mads Mikkelsen.
Yes,
Who
he plays Hannibal.
Okay.
It's got Hugh Dancy, who plays the guy before
His name is Gah?
the guy before Clarice. I don't know.
It
Did you ever watch any of the
I've seen Silence of the Lambs years ago. I don't remember. I know like Ray Liotta's in one of them.
Yeah,
I think like he gets like his face ripped off or something.
All right. Well, anyways, he plays that character, and that's
That
at the
guy.
bottom of the screen. If you're a YouTube watcher, if you're
Once you look it up.
yeah. But anyways, he is this FBI special agent. He doesn't necessarily work directly for the FBI because he works in the academy, and this character has what's called pure empathy. So he's able to just basically assume and understand anybody. They kind of dress it up like it's a superpower, to the point where, like, he like goes to a crime scene and he closes his eyes and this like weird looking pendulum swings in front of his face, and each time it swings, it takes back pieces of the crime evidence away to where everything was before it started, and then he just lives out like he is a serial killer committing the crime, murdering somebody, and then when he's done, everything is as it is when the FBI found it. It's a little over the top with that. It's a little in the book, the Thomas Harris books don't go that far. He just is more cold and meticulous in figuring out evidence. Thomas Harris is more, I would say, like forensic kind of explanation instead of just plot go with it kind of stuff.
So
Swinging
it's one of those
pendulums.
where he picks up on these little nuances that are around the crime scene that nobody else would notice.
Yes, but for him to be able to extrapolate emotional connection from that stuff, that's a little kind of out there. And I get, like they take some creative license with whatever empathy means. But anyways,
Kind of along the lines of the Red Dragon movie where Edward Norton's character.
Edward Norton, the character that he plays is the same guy that
Okay.
Hugh Dancy plays in the show.
Okay.
So, and Hannibal who's played by Mads Mikkelsen, also by Anthony Hopkins in the movies.
Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Sir Anthony Hopkins, Oscar winning for the role of Hannibal Lecter.
For like what, 8 minutes of screen time almost?
Nah, he had a fair bit in Silence of the Lambs. So,
I think it was like less than like 20 minutes of screen time.
yeah, it wasn't a lot. But I mean,
But he made the most of it.
oh yeah, yeah. He. So I mean, like, okay, so Hannibal Lecter is this. What's that country? God. He's from some.
Like Eastern European.
Yeah, like almost Russian country. In
Like
fact,
Belarus.
no, it start with an L.
Lithuania.
Lithuania. He's a Lithuanian guy, and I think in the Thomas Harris books, he's actually a World War II survivor. But in this, they kind of adapt. They really don't go that much into his background. But if you're familiar with the Thomas Harris books, you know that he was forced to cannibalize his sister in order to survive. That's part of his like cryptic, horrible background. And they do talk about that briefly in the show. But the mystery and the dapperness of Mads Mikkelsen, he's just this like deadpan, shows no
He looks
emotion.
like a serial killer.
Yeah, he does, and they do like the whole balding eyebrow thing to make him look less human and stuff like that. And but he just takes pleasure. You can tell like the things that he takes pleasure in, which is very subtle, and what he takes pleasure in. But it's just things like tormenting people, like feeding them their own bodies and stuff like that. Just things that they wouldn't even know that they're doing. But you can just tell that he's like super into it. It's kind of like creepy and gross and weird, but also very fascinating, which is strange. You almost feel guilty watching the show, because you're like,
I'm watching, but I feel bad.
yeah,
It's
you're like, no, don't kill Hannibal, but he's killed so many horrible, so many
it's like
people.
you deserve it completely. It's like you deserve to be like drawn and quartered alive.
Yeah. The first 3 seasons take place during the Red Dragon book, so it's it's kind of stretched out. They invent a lot of serial killers. They invent a lot of characters. They do some gender swapping for some characters. They do a lot of little changes. I think Lawrence Fishburne, who plays Jack Crawford, the guy in charge of the FBI, he's probably one of the best of the show.
So they don't base it off of real life serial killers.
No,
Okay.
no.
That he
Thomas
has to
Harris
find.
did base Hannibal off of some sort of think he's like a South American serial killer. I don't know if he was a surgeon that was a serial killer. Okay. And I think that's as far as like the realism that came from Hannibal.
That premise.
Well, no, I'm saying
he
I
just
didn't
went
know
off
if,
the
like,
deep end.
I didn't know if Hannibal was like tracking down the Zodiac killer and all these other stuff.
No, that'd be too much. And plus, like this takes place in 2013, so which is when the show came out.
I mean, nobody knows who the Zodiac killer was.
Well, yeah. That's why for a movie or TV, you could make it whoever you want it to be.
All of these are fictional, and like they're kind of it's a little Murder She Wrote. Like, how can these people get away with killing so many people? You know,
And just there's like not one clue to lead to who it was or anything.
You'd be surprised.
no, there is like
parking ticket.
they wrap up most of these serial killers within an episode or two, but like, you know, like, oh no, we found a couple of bodies, and they go to like a cornfield, and there's like 50 people murdered, and I'm like, how is this? How's nobody not know?
That's just the murder cornfield.
Yeah, you know,
Just a local legend.
yeah. So it's a little stupid like that every once in a while. You know, and it seems like each time they kind of try to outgore the last episode. You know, and I binge watched it, and it's kind of a lot to binge watch. It's very kind of, you know, you just kind of get so desensitized to all the crazy gore stuff and him like eating people. Like, So what Hannibal does is he plays Hugh Dancy's character's psychologist, because the more Hugh Dancy, that character, empathizes with serial killers, he starts to go crazy. So he gets referred to Hannibal to be his psychologist and help him rehabilitate coming back from that mindset of a serial killer. But you know, he finds that Hannibal is like super obsessed with him because he's a pure empath, and he wants him basically to be understood because Hannibal is a cannibal, and he wants, you know, that to happen. So he basically makes Hugh Dancy be his like plaything, and eventually, you know, as the show goes on, he has a hard time when he realizes what Hannibal is, not empathizing with him. You know, that character being the main character toes the line between, you know, doing the right thing and doing what Hannibal wants. And you, the audience, are kind of in a weird position. Like, you like Hannibal, you know he's a bad guy, but you like Hannibal.
It's always weird, those kind of shows where like you have like some sort of empathy towards the villain, and you're just.
I mean, Mads
like,
Mikkelsen does a really good job of making Hannibal be a very charming guy.
That's very hard to do.
Yeah, and it's a very nuanced character in that aspect too. Just because, also, Anthony Hopkins played it the same way, but completely different. Like, Anthony Hopkins always had a more menacing, emotional kind of like vibe to him, whereas Mads Mikkelsen is just deadpan, and he's cool and he's kind of funny and whatever, but he's also just, you can't read him at all, you know, which I would think would be more like a serial killer. He's just creepy. But so as the show goes on, it's a little stretched out. It's a little long. Brian Fuller, he did the new Star Trek Discovery and stuff like that. He did Pushing Up Daisies. So this is his show. It got canceled in 2016, I believe. 2016, 2017. And I'll get into the news section about that in a minute. That's my news, by the way. But anyway, so the show's not bad. A lot of people are obsessed with it. I think you probably would have enjoyed it if you watched it in sparseness and not just binging.
You might walk away like, you know, a couple days worth of facial hair. You're looking at your wife like, I wonder how she would taste.
What platform did you watch it on?
Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah. So it was number one, or at least in the top 10 for Netflix for like 3 weeks.
They really upped their game.
Was it made by
with,
Netflix?
No, it was made by NBC, and I'll talk more about this in my news section.
Okay.
But I give the show like a 7. There's a lot of stupid cinematography. Like, it got praised for cinematography, but I can only watch blood driplets fall into water in slow motion for 30 seconds. It's like every time they do a scene transition, you're watching it and you're just like, what am I supposed to feel? You know, what's happening here? You know, and,
yep, that's blood dripping.
And they also do a lot of plot protection. Like, you think a person's dead, but if you don't see the body, and sometimes if you don't see like the person get, you know, eviscerated, you know, they're not necessarily dead. Like, for instance, one character gets shot in the head, and you're like, well, that's the end of him. And then like a season later, he shows up and he's got like a fake eye and stuff like that. And I'm like, come on, really? So
Those immortal people.
yeah, they do a little bit of plot protection. And if you know the way that the books go, that's not necessary. You might not like it 100% because they do lead your expectations of how the Thomas Harris books went and then flip it on you. Like a character will die like another character did, and then they'll keep another character alive and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah, it's different. So it's good. Like the gore is sometimes over the top, but that's kind of like the staple of the show. And I guess seeing Hannibal talk about like he views himself as a god in a sense because he can eat people. And I know that doesn't make sense, and I don't really have like the 15 hours that it takes to explain all that. But if you watch the show, you'd find why, and why that's kind of fascinating and it's kind of screwed up. But
anybody could. It's just they don't.
That's the thing is like he thinks that because you don't, you're a sheep. So
I don't have to eat him to kill him.
No.
Yeah, there's a thing by that. It's like the ultimate form of possessing somebody is eating them. That's what he kind of pushes in the show.
And then pooping them out later.
They don't talk. Actually, they do kind of joke about it at one point. But anyways, all right, yeah. So there you go. I give it a 7, 7.5, maybe. The last season was the better season because it had Richard Armitage, who actually played the Red Dragon. Oh. So, and then the show ended. But Netflix picked it up. So this came out in 2013. My news section, by the way. This came out in 2013. NBC ran for 3 seasons, around 4 years, and then it got canceled. Then it went to Amazon Prime for free, where you could have watched it for free on Amazon Prime. Nobody gave a crap. It was dead for like the past 6 years.
Probably nobody knew it was on there.
Probably.
Amazon has a lot of stuff that you don't know is there.
Yeah.
And then Netflix picked it up, and it was like shot straight up. Like the Google search rate of Hannibal like went through the roof. I think it was the second most time recently that it was Googled since the show premiered. And it was number 3, I think, around there on the top 10 most viewed things on Netflix for 3 weeks. So it did pretty good. So, and Brian Fuller has expressed interest in bringing the show back. All the actors and everything have expressed interest. And Netflix has resurrected plenty of shows in the past, like You.
Lucifer, which got canceled, then got picked up by Netflix.
And then got added to another season.
Yep, and then so
you got another one coming out.
You was a Lifetime show that Netflix picked up and then made what it is now.
That's why I don't like it.
That all makes sense.
I actually like You, but anyways,
I got bored.
I never even heard of this show until just now.
Avatar is getting a live action spinoff. All sorts of things that have been just dead in the water.
Avatar, like the James Cameron, or Avatar: The Last Airbender.
The Last Airbender.
You got to preface.
It came out before. So, but anyways, yeah,
it's a great show.
So here's hoping for Hannibal to get its reboot, and if they do, they would be transitioning from the Red Dragon book into the Silence of the Lambs book. So Starling will be in it, and which will be pretty cool to see. Yeah, that's my news and reviews section for TV. Yeah, so Dan, thank you.
All this review and little bit news.
Yeah. I mean, Hannibal could come back. That's our hope. Yeah. Right.
That's our hope.
Yeah. Watch the show. It's a good show.
So you want the serial killer to come back?
I do. He's good, and I didn't really like the way they ended it. So, yeah. All right. Who's up next?
I got games.
Hit it.
Games.
I have played Rainbow Six Siege.
You have.
You have.
Yeah, I have. It's an older game, but it's still.
It came out last year or 2018?
It's been at least 3 years.
Has Siege really been out that long?
I think so.
Okay. Because I know I have it. None of us have actually played it with each other because you don't have it.
I refuse to play it.
It's awesome.
I know it is. And
I see how you play in Warzone. You would not do well in this game.
Well,
he might because he likes to play a lot more real life, like critical.
Mr. crashes helicopters into people.
Yeah.
Well, that was until recently.
It was a win.
That was last night.
But he's a lot more the kind that like peeks around the door slowly and stuff. So
yeah.
I think he would do a lot better at that.
I don't know. I don't want to get into another shooter game. I don't want to. It's Warzone, and it's the only game I have time for right now. So
it's free.
I mean,
Warzone's not free. I mean, Warzone is, but I paid for the real game.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, like I mean, in this game, you each have your operator, which each one has some kind of special ability. Like one guy carries a sledgehammer. He can break down the breakable walls and stuff like that and shoot through them.
It's a 5v5 objective-based multiplayer.
Yeah.
You know, rescue a hostage, destroy a bomb site or whatever. So every game starts, you get auto-picked where you're going to attack for a round or defend it.
Yeah, there's not really
different
any
operators for each one. No, there is no story for this one.
Yeah, you have your attackers and defenders, and you can't use one side on the other.
Right.
It's specifically those two classes.
And you know how like in Warzone when you go into the pre-lobby where it's you just land on the map and you're just killing people for fun, and then you parachute in. That one is like everybody spawns, but you throw these little rolling camera drones out to try to find the objectives and identify the operators, so you know basically what you're going to be up against. Because the more you play, you know what each one of them will have.
Yeah, and each team can only select one operator one time. Like you can't have two people using the same.
So I can't spy on a team, see what they pick, and then pick my operator based off of that. No,
No,
right.
Everybody picks their team.
Their own stuff. A lot of people get really, really good with one specific one. A lot of the team-based stuff is like the five of them complement each other as a group.
I use the guy with the sledgehammer a lot, and I'll just go around and I'll break little holes in all the doors. So basically, they have nowhere to hide. I mean, you can be seen from somewhere.
Can you take weapons from a guy?
No,
Right.
because I normally play, and there's not like 4,000 weapons you can choose from. Each guy has 2 mains and a sidearm.
Yeah, 2 mains and then 2 sidearms that they can choose from. And then you can put different attachments and sights and things like that.
The ACOG sight in that game is nasty.
Yeah.
You need it. You really do. I mean, but like the game mechanic physics are pretty solid.
And you got to take into account what you're hide behind, because kind of
They'll
like
shoot through
Warzone,
it.
some stuff you can shoot through. This, if it's wood, they're going to shoot through the door.
Because I've done it before playing with other friends where like they're like, oh, he's on the other side of the wall, and I'll go prone, break the melee the wall, make a small hole in the wall, see the dude's feet, and just start shooting him through the wall.
Yeah,
that way.
I watched a video like Navy SEALs react to Rainbow Six Siege.
It's like a SEAL and like a Marine Raider.
Well, they
because they did that and they did.
They kind of like praised it a little bit for like the wall physics, because that's a real tactic, is shooting through walls and stuff like that to get your enemy, as long as there's nothing behind them.
Yeah.
But then they made fun of a lot of stuff. Like this guy puts like a plate of C4 on a wall.
Oh yeah, that would blow down.
Yeah,
he's like the building.
He's like half the building would be gone and everybody around that would have been dead. So. And he's like talking about how people are throwing grenades and rushing in after the explosion, which is true and real, but you're going to be deaf for like 30 seconds and stuff like that after that happens. So.
But I mean, this is a true team base, because if you don't have a team, it's pretty hard to win.
Right.
I mean, every now and then you'll have one guy that's like just God mode that just runs through.
Like, I'll play with randos or whatever every now and then, and all the defender guys will pick their stuff. Everybody will start defending it, and there's always the people who are just kind of standing there looking at each wall.
Yeah.
And somebody will see them do it and then mark it, and they'll walk up and auto start to do something and then cancel it. So it's hey, do this here,
Yeah.
and everybody will kind of figure it out really quick.
Yeah.
But I mean, you put up barriers on the collapsible walls, which keeps people from coming through unless they have the big C4.
Because I always play as thermite,
Yeah.
because it has the thermite charge, which will cut through everything and
Basically
then
cut you a
wall.
door.
Basically cut your way in.
Yeah.
Or somebody will have fuse where you drill into the wall and fire grenades from this drill into the room.
It just drills through the hole and just shoots out a couple of explosives.
People put sound mufflers, they'll electrify walls. There's one where you could put a see-through barrier, you could see out, and it's two-way glass.
Yeah.
It's there, but you can run up and collapse it where it'll blow back the wall, and you can start blasting people through it because you could see them.
This sounds like science fiction.
Well, basically, it cuts a rectangle out of the wall, and then it's just a two-way mirror. And then
that's
you
bulletproof.
You hit the button, and it'll drop the mirror down to where you can shoot through the little rectangle that you
through the slot.
through. Yeah.
That sounds cool. Never seen anything like that.
Or the bear traps outside of windows or doors, trip mines.
When somebody jumps in, they hit the little
there's
trap.
no Leroy Jenkins just running into the house. It's
that's a bad idea.
No.
Yeah. Maybe one day. Hey, if the audience wants me to, I'll play it.
He will.
I will.
With us.
And even if you didn't want to play 5v5, they have a thing where it's called Terrorist Hunt, where it's you and your team versus
30 odd AIs.
It can be 30 up to 60 depending on what difficulty you put it on, and just basically you're just invading a terrorist compound, and they'll come charging at you. They'll be hiding behind walls, waiting for you to walk up.
One game mechanic that has that I like that Warzone doesn't, that I wish it did, was the ability to lean.
Yeah.
Regardless, instead of in Warzone you have to run and mount onto something to actually get the peak on a corner or whatever. This game you could just do it whenever.
Cool. Well, what else have you for us? You do. Oh, wait, this is the game that you reviewed.
Yes.
So you did. How long have you been playing this game for?
I mean, I played it since it came out.
Yeah,
Okay.
since it came out.
I haven't played it lately, just because we've been playing
Warzone.
Warzone. But
What do you? Would you say this is the best shooter you've ever played?
not best, but it's up there. It's other than the Warzone that we're playing right now, it's probably the best. Yeah.
It's definitely more of a thinking man's
Yeah.
shooter, if that makes any sense to anybody.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
a
there's
strategic shooter.
Call of Duty, shipment is just mindless killing.
Yeah.
There's no real tactics. It's just run, see people, blow them away.
And you can't do the childish things of running and just jump around a corner and start shooting because you can't take bullets.
360 no scope.
Yeah, I mean, you can get shot in the face once and be dead.
Yeah, and then you're out. Like you get one life.
That sounds like fun.
It's kind of like the search and destroy from Call of Duty, where you
On
get one
hardcore.
life. Yeah, you get one life, and then you're out until the next round.
That sounds like fun.
So,
yeah. Cool.
pretty good.
So you gave it like 8? How high would you go?
I'd probably get 8.5.
Yeah.
I'd say that's fair. That's what I would rate it.
I would probably rate it the same as Call of Duty. Just Call of Duty is more fast paced.
I think Call of Duty has more options than
It
what
does.
you can do too. So, because I know that Warzone has been like adding more content to the same game type. Like there's been new classes and new guns and new maps and whatever, which is cool. But I like that some days I'll be tired of Warzone and I want to play Team Deathmatch, which is a completely different type of shooter gameplay, and then I can get that out of my system and then go on to something else. So,
Well, one good thing about Siege is kind of like Warzone. They've done these like seasons where every season they'll come out with like between 2 and 4 new operators, new maps, new
Gadgetry
gadgets
kind
and
of
stuff
deals
you
to
can
learn.
but the gist of the game is still the same.
right. But the new operators, what their abilities are, I mean, it changes stuff because you got to learn how to counter.
I'm
for
sure
that.
it does, but sometimes I want to kill people and not have to worry about dying, and sometimes I want to like do the strategic. Okay, I can't die now, because then I'm out and stuff. I want all the options. And games like, granted, Call of Duty's like 180 gigabytes or something like that.
Yeah, you
But-
basically need to buy 2 Xboxes just for this game.
But it gives you all the variances for $60.
Yeah.
So cool. All right, what news have you for us?
Warzone.
Oh yeah. Were we just talking about that?
Yeah. Well,
It segued nicely.
Warzone is going to have their next season, which granted season 4 just came out, but season 5 they've already started talking about they're going to open up the stadium.
That's gonna
where you'll
be-
be able to fully go inside. And
Could you imagine being in the middle of it? Because it's going to be a football field?
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine
So-
it'd probably be like some sort of soccer stadium kind of deal.
Yeah, like just being in the middle of that, that'd be like the dumbest place to be. Being up on the high rises or whatever.
But I mean, I wonder like if they're gonna have it where you can land on the roof of stadium and get in from the top.
I
Because
think
if
they
that's the
should.
case, that's gonna be a major play.
I think
You're gonna have to helicopter to the top of the stadium to hold it, fire down, and then if the circle moves, you have the best elevation.
Well, like because it's a dome, I think they'll take that top dome. It has like two, like the outer ring, and then it has a top. I think they'll take that top piece off. And
Okay.
I think I don't know for sure, but
I mean, we'll see when it happens.
Just to make it more,
Because that could be
Convenient
very
for-
much like, you're going to get screwed. Because if you survive stadium, circle's ending on stadium. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, the circle will rotate, but you'll have to move away from it.
right.
And there's going to be guys, 70 feet above you
Right.
with a clear shot at you. Because there's not really all that much cover to protect you from above
Yeah.
around there.
Also, they're going to add in a loot train, which basically it'll just follow the tracks throughout the map.
Okay, because there is, everywhere there's tracks, isn't
Yeah,
there?
I mean, there's
So-
essentially a train track that goes all the way around that.
But the-
I guess outer edge of the maps.
Yeah, it doesn't. There's nothing on it that moves right now, and I think
Not
there's
right
like
now.
debris and dead cars and stuff like that on the way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's
But,
broken down cars and stuff.
I don't know if it's going to be a slow moving train or if it's going to be a train that it comes and stops periodically for a few seconds.
can you blow it up?
If you get hit by it, do you die?
I'm sure.
I'm sure that has to be
I hope so.
I really hope
distract somebody
I
long
want them
enough.
to do like a major ragdoll effect. Like as soon as it hits you, you just go flying, and it's just like
You see, like he's just running through the woods a mile away, and just
some dude just comes flying over the crest of the hill. It's like holy crap, he got hit by the train.
I also found out that they're probably going to incorporate the original Black Ops story because they're going to reboot Black Ops for this next Call of Duty coming out.
I don't care about it.
It's going to be, the Cold War era thing.
Yeah.
The numbers, Mason.
Yeah, they
what
keep,
are the numbers?
They keep going back to this nuke stuff.
Yeah.
And,
Well, that's what they said. This is going to be. It's going to be tied in together with that story to lead into the new Call of Duty.
Okay.
So they're going to explore more of the bunkers that are coming out. They're going to add some of the Black Ops characters, like they're going to add those as some
Woods,
of the operators.
Mason.
Yep.
but aren't they
Dead.
Well,
yeah.
but they're going to make them operators. Just,
I mean, Captain Price is an operator in this. I mean, but
Yeah.
Modern Warfare is a reboot of Modern Warfare.
Yeah, but now they're going to combine Black Ops and Modern Warfare into one coherent story that goes along. Because like
Dude,
I said, they're
I'm not
rebooting Black
buying a new
Ops.
game.
You say that now.
I'm not.
now.
I did say I wasn't going to buy a Warzone or Call of Duty Warzone or what is it? Modern Warfare.
It's Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yes, but like because Warzone, and honestly, it was a genius marketing strategy. Play Warzone for free. It's so much fun. Oh, hey, you like all these guns? Here's a quicker way to unlock them. Play the actual game. So, but anyway, the every game that came out since Black Ops 2, which is what, 6 games, maybe 8 games.
I don't know. I didn't play a lot of the Black Ops. I
played 1 and 2.
I played 1 and 2. I had 4 for a while, and then I traded it in.
I just don't believe it. I just don't believe in games coming out once a year. That's too much. It's not enough work on a game. It's just
Call of
basically.
Duty's been doing that since 2002.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
Was
and
the
that's
first
why
one?
the resale
Or 2004.
the resale is crap. The resale value of those games is crap, and I think honestly, nobody plays those games after a year.
It's because I remember when I would buy them every year. It's like, all right, cool. I got Modern Warfare 2. Play it for a year. Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah.
Play that for a year. It's like, all right, cool. Black Ops. I'm gonna play that now.
Well, the one reason they did that was because you had 2 separate companies.
yeah, Treyarch.
Treyarch and Infinity Ward.
Yeah.
But I think this one's supposed to come out in 2021. From what I looked at, I think that's what it said. I
Okay.
have to look again.
I think just because Warzone itself has kind of become its own deal.
Yeah.
And along with the new Modern Warfare, it would kind of be silly to be making this much money
Yeah.
off of this and release something else to take away from. I mean, granted, they're all going to make money anyway.
Well, you know what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
They're going to have Warzone because all the guns and stuff that you get from Modern Warfare right now impact the guns that you get in Warzone.
And vice versa.
So when the new game comes out and you don't have anything left to unlock for Modern Warfare, they're going to be like, look at all these cool guns in Warzone from Black Ops 15 that you can play right now.
Yeah.
Oh, go spend $60 in that game.
If they start adding jetpacks and jumping around crap,
I'm out.
No.
to Warzone, I'm done.
Well, like I said, this
I'm not
supposed to
playing
be
that.
this next game is going to be based off the Cold War era, so it's
Yeah.
going to be probably different guns, but
Right.
I kind of hope though for
won't be
Warzone they
futuristic.
do add the tactical nuke option
it'd be interesting
because
because
that'd be
That would be cool if you could do a series of complicated stuff.
intricate challenges and scavenging and
Yeah.
finding certain items to unlock and do it.
A lot of people are speculating because some people data mined and there is some nuking stuff in Warzone and
'cause
there's
when
for
you go
sure
in
nuke objects.
But there's also the bunkers. I wonder if the bunkers you could survive the nuke if you had access to a bunker and could make it into it.
well, also the bunkers have that second door that has a code that nobody knows. There's nobody's been through the second part because they haven't
Yeah,
released
because
that
we've
yet.
gone into bunkers before.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but anyways,
I
we'll
also haven't researched it. So
we'll move on from Call of Duty.
Okay.
We also have Halo Infinite, which they released a trailer. They have 2 trailers right now. One is you see Master Chief get rescued from space by this one guy. That's
That bearded dude, yeah.
Yeah, he gets rescued from space, reawakened, and then he looks out and you see the Halo ring, which has been partly destroyed.
Yeah.
And then they have a new one that talks about there will be retribution. You hear the new enemy's voice. It's just like a screen, and you just see the voice pattern.
Isn't the new enemy Cortana
I don't
No.
know.
from the end of Halo
So-
5?
Okay. All right. I used to be really big in a Halo plot. All right. So there was the Forerunners, which created everything in the Halos that we know of. Mm-hmm. Then the humans.
There's the Human Forerunner War.
Well, no. That came. Did that come later? Okay. I get this and Mass Effect confused sometimes.
Well,
All right.
there was the Forerunners, and then
Well, so
there was the humans, but they created the Flood on accident.
yeah, the Forerunners created the Flood on accident. The Flood killed everything.
The humans and the Forerunners fought because
Right.
the humans glassed a planet that had Forerunners on it to stop the Flood, and then they went to fighting each other while the Flood grew. And then the Forerunners built the Halo array because they realized they wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, they killed everything.
Composed everybody, at the time. This is the Your Didact story.
Right.
And then they basically reset the universe, killing everybody, and restarted humanity.
Right.
And humanity, as we know it in the game, is the restarted version.
Right. And then the Covenant is like an amalgamation of a bunch of alien species that are trying to serve the Forerunners.
Well, in this little tidbit that they talk about in the new thing, that they mentioned prophecies and the prophets have aligned, and we've regained control and stuff like that.
So the Covenant's kind of back.
Are the
That's
Covenant the bad guys? Because like the Didact and all that.
I liked when the Covenant was the bad guys.
Yeah, I like the Covenant, and then because like the Covenant was fun. They're goofy bad guys to kill, and they were challenging and interesting. And then like you got terrorized by the Flood, and you missed the Covenant, you know, and that was like the horror aspect of Halo that you never wanted to go back to. And then you know when you got back to the Covenant, it was fun. And then you started coming out with all these like Forerunners,
The precursors.
yeah, all these.
Yeah, something like that.
It was
All this
just
crap for like the mantle.
But
Yeah.
from the
Humanity will
verbiage,
hold the mantle.
from the way the Covenant talked and the verbiage from the way this new bad guy is going to be, they sound like it's going to be the Covenant. But
Yeah.
there's no official word yet.
Okay.
Just the way they talk, it sounds
So
like
I
the
guess,
Covenant.
well, it's going to have to just be like that fractured Covenant because the elites left the Covenant.
Some of them didn't they? Or did all of them?
All of them, I believe, did.
Okay. And the brutes were like the new elites or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The giant monkey dudes. I don't know. Halo was very fascinating, and then it just got over the top, complicated, and weird, and it kind of got repetitive and monotonous too. Like
The first 3 games
were great.
were fantastic.
Yes.
Great story, great backgrounds, great plot,
Yeah.
good lore. It had everything you wanted.
ODST was a lot of fun. It was a great. It wasn't like amazing gameplay, but
It was a fun offshoot.
If you want like the perfect slice of story from Halo in a video game format, ODST is like one of the best ones.
Or Reach.
Reach is okay. Wasn't my favorite, but 4 and 5 sucked. I hated it.
4 and 5 were not good.
And I mean, ever since 343,
Guilty Spark.
yeah,
Because they took over for Bungie.
They took over for Bungie. Bungie left after Reach, and 343 took over for 4 and 5. And I bought them both.
Trash.
I bought them both. I beat them both, and I played like 2 months maybe for multiplayer in each. And I was just like, nah, I'm not into it. But you know, it's new console. They've had 2 games to work out. We'll see what happens for this Infinite one.
Halo's always kind of been ahead of the curve on graphics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Xbox's Mario. I mean, they got to do something about it. Make it great.
He was the most popular video game character that we voted on.
For our list, was he?
It was.
Yeah.
He was Master Chief.
Well, let's
Throwback to an old episode.
Yep. Let's see if he can come back to the limelight. Anyway,
Last bit of news I have is you had talked about there's a new Batman Arkham game. Well, there's actually 2 Batman-esque games in development, both by the same company. They're saying one might be the Batman Origins that you had talked about. It'll be a prequel kind of. Well, now they're also saying that there's either one. It's going to be based off the Suicide Squad or the Bat Family, which either way it's supposed to be like a multiplayer version. So you can have a team of like Batman, Nightwing, Red Robin,
Snyder Cut.
Red Hood.
what if everybody wants to be Batman? Can I be Alfred?
Maybe, I don't know.
Can I be the butler?
They're just talking about there's 2 games in development.
Can I
as
be
opposed to
Thomas Wayne
one.
so I don't have to play it all?
Yeah.
You could be Thomas Wayne.
He gets shot in the beginning.
Earth 2 Thomas Wayne. Batman with guns.
I want to be that
I
Batman.
want to be Earth 3 Thomas Wayne. Just a normal guy.
I think he's a bad guy.
Oh, is he? Never mind.
Earth 4.
Yeah.
He's a super god.
He's basically just Superman.
He invests in some like
He's like Lex
jank
Luthor.
company. Yeah. No, he like goes bankrupt. He's like poor.
He's
and
poor.
stuff.
He's just pedaling on the street.
He invests in Enron.
Actually, I lied. I do have one
Some
other thing.
dated references. In there.
The new Resident Evil, which is going to be Resident Evil Village, is what it's going to be called. It's going to be the wrap up to Resident Evil 7, the story. It'll have that character and how he survived and what he went through after he got picked up.
Oh.
All right, I'm so far removed from Resident Evil's story. I played 1 and 2.
I haven't played it, but I watched a.
4 is the best one.
I heard 4 is great. 4 is like one of those like legendary games.
Resident Evil 7, I watched a guy that hates scary stuff. I watched him play the whole gameplay through. It's pretty hilarious. But,
How many times did he drop the controller out of fear?
There were several times where he would just jump and hold his heart like, oh, God.
Watch a man die on YouTube.
You just watching a dude about to have a heart attack.
But it was a pretty fun playthrough to watch because there's a lot of stuff going on, and just his comedy kind of made it a little better. But it seemed like an interesting story. In Resident Evil 7, he's trapped in like this old swamp house with these weird like family, but they've kind of gotten to where it's not zombies anymore. It's like those
Deliverance.
Yeah. But,
Just rednecks.
Just a bunch of rednecks.
Just a bunch of banjo music.
Squeal like a pig for me, boy.
instead of Resident Evil 8, it's going to be called Resident Evil Village. So
Nah.
they haven't really said a whole lot.
I don't really care.
It comes out in 2021.
Look,
there are
anything-
people that will care, though. You can't just be focused on you.
Look, anything from Capcom, anything from Konami, anything from pretty much any veteran game company right now, I don't trust anymore because they put crap out.
It's been
trash.
garbage for years.
Like Booker, Brian, our friend that was on a couple episodes ago, he's a huge Resident Evil fan. He was just so mad about the most recent one that came out. So, but yeah. Anyway, cool. That's our quite exuberant video game news section. Thanks, Mitch.
I had to pick up on the news since your news was so little.
Okay, I appreciate
I'm
it.
surprised you didn't try to throw out the COD stats.
Hey, look at the
Hannibal video game coming out, everybody. Hannibal video game.
Look at the amount of entertainment that I brought them with no notes.
Are you not entertained?
No notes, and I had all that.
So proud of you.
You're a legend.
I have
this
a half.
This is what happens when he wears a collared shirt.
Yeah.
He's just
Despite the wrinkles.
despite the wrinkles, which you could see in 4K.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, you can kind of tell.
Tam,
I'm him.
what have you?
I had movies.
Oh yeah, this movie. Go ahead.
We actually both watched this last week. The movie was Prospect, 2018 film, directed, written, etc. by two people, Zeke Earl and Chris Caldwell,
Famous.
featuring Sophie Thatcher, who plays the lead female.
She was pretty
biggest
good.
teenager daughter. It was her first movie.
Yeah, she was really good.
And Pedro Pascal,
The Mandalorian.
the Mandalorian, or for those of you more learned folk,
The Narcos dude.
the Narcos guy.
Yeah.
For those of you who are slightly more learned,
Learned it.
the Red Viper, Prince Oberyn
Oh yeah.
from
yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
You'll probably remember his thrilling death scene where his skull was ripped in half.
Yeah. Well,
By the
he's
mountain.
got his head
Yeah, he's
squished
got,
by
like
the-
his,
I just
all of
remember
his teeth knocked out, his eyes ripped out, and then
I just remember the blooper reel they were doing for that because they put all his blood on his face because he's like on the brink of where they're making the sound effect for his head to explode in the cut for the when they bring the prostate head or whatever. Mm-hmm. So they put all his blood on his face. He's like doing the scream. And he gets like blood that goes into his mouth. You hear him like, ah! He just starts like giggling and stuff like he can't contain himself. He seems like a pretty cool dude.
he does seem pretty cool. Anywho, movie takes place obviously in the future, in space on a foreign planet. I'm not going to be like spoilers McGee here, but the movie basically the girl and her dad are in space.
Yes, yeah.
And they're orbiting some sort of mining planet
No. Yeah.
that has poisonous spores, so they have to wear suits. And then they come across some rogue gentlemen and mercenaries, and all sorts of nonsense ensues. And there's some sort of special fuel found in ball sacks buried in the ground.
They do look like scrotums.
It's like a one nut sack.
Yeah.
Is what they're pulling these
You
like
just-
crystals out of.
Here's my thing with weird sci-fi movies.
It's always got to look like a set of nuts or like spit.
But like, okay, so they start digging into the ground and they pull out this thing with like a
It looks
a
like
tube
they call it
connected
like
to
a
it.
sheep's stomach with
Yeah.
a tube. They have to cut the
And I'm also
umbilical
like, why
cord.
is this organic thing growing like an organ like out of the ground like
Yeah.
that? You know, and they don't. It's just weird stuff. And then they cut into it. They pull a nut sack out. And,
And
they
then
cut
they
into
have
that.
to like
they
pour
pull
like
another
this
nut sack.
special thing to like diffuse it, I guess.
Yeah.
Because like I guess if they cut it wrong with there's some sort of like pockets that are inside that like just
I
all
don't
of a sudden excrete like this acid that destroys this gem thing that they're
Yeah, they
looking
need.
for.
I guess it's fuel.
I think they never explained it really.
I don't know.
I don't know what it is.
It was just weird. It was like we need some science fiction weird stuff to happen right there, and so they just nut sacks in the ground.
Well, they filmed this in 40 days.
It looked like
The
they
entire
filmed it in
movie.
40 days.
That's
Because
not.
I'm
bad.
surprised it took that long.
It was about 90 minutes, wasn't it?
Because of
Something
child
like that.
labor laws, and it was $3.9 million to make.
That's a lot of money, actually. I thought it would have been cheaper than that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not that I didn't love the movie. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it.
I
It
don't
was
like
just, it's a one watch movie. If you got nothing else to watch and you kind of like that, space,
Yeah.
I guess kind of like the first Alien movie where it's kind of like the technology looks kind of scaled back. It's just kind of like run down future stuff.
Yeah, but
You know what I mean?
but so like I feel like the actors did really well. I feel like the writing was not very good, and like they try to have this.
They didn't really explain a lot.
They try to have this old timey minor kind of lingo about like.
Yeah, this one's called Prospect.
They kept saying, "Is everything creamy?" You know, like that was their way of saying cool, and it just came off strange.
Like, why don't you just say cool?
Yeah, I don't know. So they had that weird lingo they're trying to say, and I don't know. I could tell that there was potential, and then I just think like they just got weird with it, and they probably ran into some money issues. They probably ran into some location, child labor stuff.
I mean, $3.9 million. I mean, $3 million of that probably went to Pedro Pascal.
No, I'm sure he did it for dirt cheap because this was before Mandalorian. So he's probably trying to break out into something different, or maybe he was doing it to try and propose to Mandalorian. Maybe he heard something before people did. But anyway, most of that money went to post effects. Like all their space stuff was pretty looking. You know,
everything that was outside, like all the exterior shots, it says it was filmed in Olympic Peninsula in Washington State, which is a rainforest they have.
I'm just waiting for like the
ferns.
space scenes filmed in space on location.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
There's Tom Cruise movie.
I mean, Tom Cruise is working on it.
We talked about it.
So, I mean, it was all right. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10 if I had to rate it.
I'd give it lower, but that's just me.
It's worth a watch. It doesn't have a lot of rewatch value at all.
The one thing, I've only seen half of it, but one thing I found pretty neat here in the little trivia stuff, it says that most of the dialogue was actually taken from the people inside the helmet. They didn't ADR it afterwards. They actually, recorded what they were saying inside the helmet.
I guess to get that weird reverb effect.
There's no point for them to have this stinking okay. So this is their decontamination process. They're like, oh no, I'm running out of air. My filter's going low. I'm gonna die.
Car air filters.
Yeah.
Is what
So
it is.
he runs up. He goes into a tent. He zips the tent closed and takes his helmet off. And he's like, I'm just like, what's the tent do? What's
it's
that
not
happening?
The air's not breathable. It's like the plant spores. The spores are poisonous.
They show these floaty, flaky things. Yeah. Okay, so then put a Corona mask on? Like that. That'd do enough, wouldn't it?
I mean, a Bane mask, you should be fine.
Yeah, and then you can have all the oxygen you want.
Yeah.
So.
And then you can talk like this.
But the costume design was really weird. They had this like giant dude in a Gatling gun.
He had like some like weird, like old timey, like blacked out scuba helmet with like a welding mask in it.
Made him look like imposing as possible.
All black.
He like points his Gatling gun at some guy, gets shot. He goes and shoots one bullet out of his Gatling gun and then dies. And I'm like, I wanted to see that thing go off.
I wanted to see that guy do some damage.
Nah, he died.
They said that all the dust effects were practical effects. They took basement dust and just tossed it in the air before filming.
Basement dust.
Basement dust.
That's what it says here. Basement dust was thrown into the air. This is IMDb.
They went into Tom's room and collected all the dust. His parents' basement.
just wipe it off the ceiling fan.
I'll have you know I live on the second floor.
Okay. Your race car bed.
No, I got rid of that last year.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. What news have you?
What
for
news
us?
haveth I? New movie coming out. Or well, I'll do the movie coming out first. And then I got another little bit. Zachary Levi, who played Shazam, is set to play Kurt Warner in a film called American Underdog: The Kurt Warner Story.
Yeah.
And they're saying like, is this Oscar bait? And I was like, the guy who played a superhero for DC is going to play a football player in a movie, and he doesn't look a thing like Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
Pow.
Pow. Ow. Ooh. Ah.
Well, just reach across the table and slap him next time.
And I'm just going to go. Yeah. It's like he leaned back. He defeated me. I got a pen. I'll throw it at you. So you obviously don't know who Kurt Warner is. So like Kurt Warner's football story is a huge underdog story. Yeah. It's almost in the same vein as like Vince Papale playing for the Eagles in the movie Invincible and in real life. So in the 1990s, the Rams sucked. The coach actually who coached Vince Papale for the Eagles in Invincible at this point in the history is the coach of the Rams. So somehow Dick Vermeil just ends up in both of these great roles.
Wow, that's good for him.
As coach. Kurt Warner is like the third string quarterback for the Rams. Their starter goes down. The guy who's their backup goes down. Kurt Warner a couple weeks before is bagging groceries at like Pathmark somewhere. Married, has like a bunch of kids. I think one of them is special needs, so he's strapped for money. But
I mean, he was a great player in college, but never got drafted. Nobody ever picked him up. So
no, and he played arena football.
Yeah.
Which helped him out because arena football is a lot more fast-paced, less players, but you have to be a lot quicker. So his from the time he snaps the ball to his drop back and pass and release, like the whole motion of how he throws is so compact and tight that, and quick, like it's almost instantaneous. By the time he touches the ball, a second and a half later, he's already cocked back to throw it.
Yeah.
And he's already going to hit somebody for 80 yards, who were, those two guys at the time with Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce, who were Hall of Famers, or handed off to Marshall Falk, who's a Hall of Famer.
All right.
It helps when you have a whole team of superstars.
Your plethora of just.
Well, I mean, that was the greatest show on turf.
Okay.
That's what it's called.
That's what they were called. That was the offense.
This is knockoff. Greatest show on earth. Greatest show on earth.
So there's not really much detail, but I'm assuming it's going to be about, him struggling as a person, in his life, because he didn't get drafted in the NFL. He's got to play in the arena. He's working at a grocery store, bagging groceries. And then his rookie year, or his first season as a starter, he's in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Wow.
They win.
Yeah, they did win. They tackled, because there's
They tackled Eddie George on the 1
on
yard
the 1 yard line.
Was this Zachary Levi guy, a stand-up comedian before?
Either that or you did something for MTV or something like that.
Something like that.
It was some kind of
Before
TV host or something.
Shazam? Because he got jacked for Shazam, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
He's not going to need to be jacked to play Kurt Warner.
was his suit?
I mean, his suit was like padded and stuff too. but
Okay.
Just
but-
add that little
but he
extra
was-
Yeah.
oomph.
Yeah.
All right. It'll be interesting. I don't mind sport movies. And we did an episode of top 10 sport football movies.
Were
or
you
something like that.
exploded about it?
I did. I don't mind them. It's just like,
You should just cut in the bit rant that you went on. It's like, I don't really care about him.
yeah. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. See if it's any good. What else you got?
Marvel has acquired the rights to Dark Horse Comics,
Really?
which is Predator and Aliens, respectively.
Do you like those movies?
I do. I like
The first Predator movie is
Yeah.
amazing.
No. I mean the Alien versus Predator movies. Do you like those movies?
They're all right. They could be
The
better.
first one was probably the best one.
They're trash.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
doesn't like it.
I know you don't. I'm saying, like, the first one, AVP, I thought it had a lot of potential. Some
Yeah.
stuff was cool. Other stuff was like, all right, this is just dumb.
Yeah.
This is just bad.
I did like the story they put behind it though, like why the predators were coming there. Mm-hmm. The pyramid, hunting, using that to basically make a
Well,
hunt.
Ridley Scott owns the rights back to Aliens, so I don't know if, and I know he would not let anybody bastardize the story. So
No, I don't.
Yeah.
But
I
maybe
don't know.
we'll get, like, the Avengers versus Predator.
I'm sure they'll have comics like that where predators.
I'm
hunting down.
sure.
Iron Man has to fight the Predator.
Who else owns? What else does? Who owns Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Nickelodeon. I don't know who owns Nickelodeon, but
All right. What
Some
about
man named Nick?
what else does Dark Horse have? Wasn't that Bloodshot movie? Is that Dark Horse?
I think so.
no, that's Valiant.
I don't know. There's so many offshoot comic.
I
book
want to
ones.
say Tom said the Terminator's not part of it, but I want to say RoboCop is. So
Okay.
Is it really?
as far as I know, because they had a lot of Alien versus RoboCop or
They
Predator
did a lot of
versus
Star
RoboCop
Wars
comics.
stuff, too, back in the 2000s, because Bounty Hunter, the Jango Fett stuff, that was a comic series by Dark Horse.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well.
And we talked about it on the show, because remember, like, you played through Bounty Hunter,
Yeah.
and, like, you'd unlock the pick
That's
chapters
right.
of the comics.
You're right. So I guess because Disney owns Marvel now, right? Or they own the MCU. Do they own?
Dark Horse, some of their series, it's showing The Witcher, The Legend
okay.
of Korra, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, I
Berserk,
knew that they had
the Umbrella Academy,
comics out. I didn't know
Aliens, and
if they were
Predator.
Dark Horse.
So there's some
Cool.
stuff. So that's interesting.
Well, hey, if Disney owns the rights to them, they'll throw money at anything to grow. So we'll see what happens. I'm all for a good story coming out. All right.
That's all I got.
That is our news and review section. If you enjoyed that, please let us know. And if you want us to talk about anything specific coming out, or our crack team here will do leagues of research for
Oodles
you.
of research. So much research. Not 5 minutes before we
I
get
promise you, though, if somebody says, hey, I'm interested in this, we will do...
We'll be more than happy to
Yeah.
explore it, give us some points, and we'll be more than happy to argue about it and talk about it.
So please let us know. All right, cool. Let's talk about
Our top 10.
Hit It Town.
I don't have anything.
We need that gavel.
I need a gavel, damn it. I mean, I wear my college robe, too. I could be like a judge presiding over this list.
That's true.
So this is going to be suggested by you because I put it out there, and I mean, like 3 or 4 people commented. Your wife wanted us to read, and I was like, "That's not happening."
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not.
There's a
reading,
couple
I'm not
people that-
reading like 15 books
I had some
in the
friends that
space of
say,
a
like,
week. I'm not
hey-
a speed reader.
I had some friends that say, "Hey,
No
can
offense,
can I
Hayden's
come on
wife.
and do like a book review?" And I was like, "Maybe, we'll see."
You have money.
All
This was suggested by a friend of ours from work, Miguel S. I mean, you could just go to the comment thing and you can actually see his full name.
Yeah.
Top 10 movies audiences loved but critics hated. So we actually ended up getting 10 from that post to do.
We made it. Did it, guys.
Thank God we got 10 from your comments, which everyone that got commented in that post is on this list, except one.
Yeah. Go
Because
ahead.
when we did the post for the poll, which we need more of you to vote on, I mean,
Cody
we're happy
Bear.
a lot of you voted. Yeah, Cody Bear.
How
The
dare you.
Room.
Yeah.
We aren't even going to entertain.
You know, that was
That film.
That was on my punishment list for a little while. I
Yeah,
actually
that's
took it
not.
off.
No one liked it.
Just the Disaster Artist is such a great movie, though. I love that movie. Yeah, I almost want to watch The Room just to see if the Disaster Artist is even funnier because of that. So, I've never been able to make it all the way through The Room before.
So The Room sort of got added to the list as number 11, and it's just like no,
yeah,
no, get out of here.
yeah.
So you ready?
Oh yeah, hit it.
Coming in at number 10, Without a Paddle, 0 votes.
I'm happy with that. That's a horrible.
I
movie.
like that movie.
It's not a great movie, but it's hilarious.
It's a funny movie.
I can't stand Seth Green. I can't stand a shaggy guy
That's right. That Shaggy guy is in that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
from the old live action
Dak
one.
Shepard.
Dak Shepard. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can't stand Dak Shepard either. He's okay in that one TV show.
What's wrong with you?
He's just annoying.
It's a comedy. It's funny.
It's a silly comedy. It's a little slapstick.
They're all like
It's-
the exact same people too. Those 3
That's
guys.
what makes
Yeah.
it hilarious.
That's what's funny about it.
No.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
What are you worried about?
I watched it. I didn't enjoy it. It was kind of corny, but all right.
It was an all right
You
film,
have a strange taste in things. It's okay.
Yeah, I do.
honestly. So,
An acquired taste.
number 9, Equilibrium,
Great movie.
1 vote.
Yep. I would have voted for it, but I had to give it to another one on the list.
I was told I could only vote once.
No.
I voted for
Yeah,
it
some of you guys were like ballot stuffing.
Yeah.
It's like clearly you don't know how
Bringing
voting.
it.
I mean, when you vote for like a president or something, or like in an election, do you just like walk up and just keep trying to do it?
Just put a mustache
You walk
on.
back out to your car, change your shirt, put on a different hat, walk back in. It's like, no, you vote for one. This is the. I've seen bits of this movie. I haven't seen the thing all the way through. But this is Christian Bale.
Sean Bean was in it.
Does he die? Yeah, of course. Is that the one where he gets shot through the book?
Yep.
You're like right in the face. Like he's just looking at the guy. He just like goes back to reading. Like, maybe if I just pretend I'm busy, he won't blow my brains out.
No. That's where he wants to be reading while he gets shot. or
Spoiled
something.
that Sean Bean dies.
That's in the beginning.
It's Sean Bean. He dies in everything except Sharp. He
Where
was
he
so
should've died.
awesome in that show. He is paying for it for like the next 40 years.
You know, it's funny. Silent Hill. He's in Silent Hill, and everybody dies in that movie except for Sean Bean.
What a twist. I don't think he dies in the movie Ronin.
Ronin?
Hey, that's an idea for a top 10.
Movies that Sean Bean
Top
doesn't-
10 Sean Bean on-screen deaths.
I
Yeah.
was fixing to say, there's not 10 that he hasn't died in.
Gets impaled by a satellite dish.
Yeah, or 10 movies Sean Bean didn't die in. You'd be hard-pressed to name 5.
That's true.
Eagle is Christian Bale, the guy who played Robert the Bruce in Braveheart.
Oh yeah.
Isn't he the bad guy or something?
I don't know. It's been a long time since
I don't know.
seen
there's
it.
swords, there's guns, there's
So they came
very
up.
form-fitting,
Yeah.
priestly-looking clothes.
They came up with this type of choreography called gun kata, and they use it a lot. John Wick uses it a lot too, where they have these guns and they just like, you know,
It's just like a hand fight with
yeah,
guns.
with guns, but instead of punching, they punch out and shoot a bullet and stuff like that. And it's really pretty. It's kind of silly at some points, but it's pretty cool when they do the over the head shot and they look down. They see Christian Bale like twirling around. It's almost like he's doing ballet and then shooting people in the
It's
face.
completely impractical, but fun to watch.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've because that one end scene, I think where he goes to fight Robert the Bruce, where he's going down the hallway and he like sets the mags like in a very specific place.
Yeah.
Like that whole action sequence is pretty.
but yeah, it's a good movie. Yeah,
Only got 1 vote though.
nah, sorry,
Number 8, Selfless.
I don't like this
Self
movie.
with the slash less.
I thought it was-
Also received 1 vote.
You like it because it has Ryan Reynolds in it, right?
Well, no, I just thought it was a pretty cool sci-fi
Man
idea.
crush.
I thought it was a good sci-fi idea where it wasn't
Reynolds
too
can do
far
no wrong.
into the
No,
future,
he can't.
but it was.
How many times does he take his shirt off in this movie?
I don't know.
He
does.
He's like 5.
Solid 5 times, almost the 6th.
Sir Ben Kingsley's in this movie though.
I've never heard of this movie.
It's all right. It's like they swap bodies or something.
Well, he's weird. You'd probably like it. It's pretty cool.
I'm weird.
Basically, this guy, he's dying of like a cancer or whatever.
Okay.
Well, they find out if you're rich enough, they had this sci-fi,
So you're saying like in the future your medical problems can be solved with money?
pretty much. They put
Amazing.
That's the future. Sure
Wow.
is.
there's a guy, which
Let's
is
not
Ryan
get into
Reynolds in the movie,
politics.
that he volunteers to basically die so that shut up. He volunteers to basically die so that his family can get money. And then
Oh my God.
and then because he's dead, they transfer Ben Kingsley's, who's in his 90s, brain into the Ryan Reynolds body. And
Okay.
they have like offshore accounts where he continues to get his money because he's like this rich business owner, but basically he gets a whole nother life as a guy in his prime. So
As like a male model.
I watched it and the pacing is very strange. Like you have no
I
idea.
think I've seen this movie.
You have no idea where they're
I just
going
don't
with
really
it.
remember it.
It's up and down, and you're just like,
well, then you come to find out that like Ryan Reynolds'
Here's the
mind
spoiler.
is still in there,
oh.
but they're battling back and forth on who's who, and
Hence
trying
that
to figure out
slash
Yeah.
between self and Liz. The duality.
it's a Slipknot song. All right, what do you got for number 7?
Number 7, Ready to Rumble. 1 vote.
that is an awesome movie.
I never saw this movie.
Neither one of you would like it because it revolves around wrestling. But
Okay.
basically, it's these two guys that they're like obsessed wrestling fans. They work for their dad as a septic tank driver. Like that, they drive
Driving around a poop truck.
Yeah.
It's a very honorable business.
Well, one of
Someone has to do it.
one of them's dad is a cop, and the other one they run the septic tank business. Well, the one David Arquette's dad wants him to become a cop. Well, he's adamant about not doing that. He wants to become a wrestler. Well, then their favorite, I forgot his name, but their favorite wrestler, which is the King. He, basically,
Captain Insano.
No, it's I can't remember his name. You would know it if you saw him, but
I don't know. Yeah.
basically he gets screwed over in real life.
Yeah.
Is like he gets beat up in the middle of the ring by Diamond Dallas Page, DDP, and they think wrestling's real, so they have to go and save this guy. They have to redeem him. It's hilarious. Basically, it's them getting beat up the entire time.
I don't know what's better, the plot of this movie or
Mitch is
how
wheezing.
excited he is to explain it to us.
This movie is so
He's about to have an
hilarious.
asthma attack. He's so happy.
This movie is so hilarious. It's David Arquette, and I forgot the other guy's name.
I'm sure it's amazing.
I'm sure it's a
we
good
gotta go on.
We're gonna watch it.
Okay.
No, we're not.
Number
One way or
6.
another.
Number Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know who voted for
1
that.
vote.
Yeah.
1 person voted. Whoever you are. Awesome.
I don't know if I ever watched the movie, but did they ever do the thing where Pee Wee had like the word of the day? Did you ever watch Pee Wee's TV show?
Pee Wee's Playhouse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite was like they bring in a guest speaker and they have the word of the day and they could be like couch or whatever.
And like everything in the house goes like, what?
like if the guest speaker actually says the magic word, the house like explodes and it just scares the crap out of the guy. What's going on? You said the word of the day.
This is Pee Wee's Big, the one where he gets to get his bike back with the stupid lion head on it, right?
I don't remember.
And there's like the fat dude, and like he gives him the gum that has like this oil stuff. It's just like spilling down like this guy.
Wouldn't it be like making a movie out of Blue's Clues or something like that?
something like
And
that?
you make fun of
I've
what
seen
I
this
watch.
movie like 4 times
Yeah.
in my life,
Oh,
and I
that's-
never remember what happens.
Yeah.
Every time I watch it, I'm like, oh,
Maybe that's his thing. Is like you can watch a movie.
it's such a forgettable movie, but it's just stupid and hilarious to watch it.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is before the nonsense that the man who plays Pee Wee Herman got into.
Yeah,
But I mean, his show's back on.
where he was
Pee-wee's.
in Mystery Men.
He was in that movie.
The human spleen.
That was a good movie.
That was all right. Actually, that was probably one that did horrible ratings. We should have been on the list.
That could have been on there, but
Yeah.
never just thought of it. It's all right.
Yeah. All right. What else?
All right. The new guy.
Have you ever seen that?
2
Yeah.
votes.
What does that do? He's got like some condition or something, doesn't he? Where he just cannot grow body fat like you. the scrawny Skeletor looking guy.
Yeah, what's his name?
I'm pretty sure I like outweigh that guy by like
DJ Qualls.
50 pounds. But
That's his,
no,
is he a DJ?
That's the guy.
No, his name is DJ Qualls.
DJ Quo.
In the movie, his name is Dizzy. He's a Supernatural a good bit too.
Because what he plays a nerdy. I've seen this movie before, but he plays like a nerdy loser, or whatever. Gets beat up, goes to another school, and like reinvents himself, and he's like a bad. Walking around. He's got like a leather jacket. Because that immediately infers, he's wearing leather in high school. That man doesn't give a crap about the man.
At the time, in the 90s, he dyes his hair blonde.
He's got the frost tips.
What's the one where it's got Jamie Kennedy in it and he plays that idiot?
Malibu Most Wanted.
Okay, I get that and this one mixed up all the time.
Isn't the dude who does got to do like the crazy thing? Where he's like, look at somebody like they're crazy if you're gonna fight him.
Oh yeah.
Or he does like the look and like every time like it happens, there's like a whip sound somewhere. He's like staring at somebody.
Looks crazy.
American Tail. Give him the lazy eye, or is it the crazy eye? I can't remember. Did you see the movie?
I think so.
It was so and so's last movie. The guy from Vertigo. I want to live. Jimmy Stewart.
Oh,
In Jimmy Stewart's last movie. He played the old sheriff in American Tail, Fellows Goes West. Yeah. All right. Anyways,
that was a little tidbit of information.
Yep.
Tidbit of trivia for you.
There you go.
So now we're in number 4, Hitman.
That's an alright
with
movie.
Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah, he did this movie.
2 votes.
Deadwood got canceled, and he wasn't sure if he was going to have a job anymore, so he just said yes. Yeah. He was the main guy in Deadwood.
I never saw Deadwood. I just remember that Ian McShane is in it.
Yeah. He was the main.
I thought he was the main guy.
No. Timothy Oliphant was. And he said yes to every movie role ever. And Hitman was on the list. He said he didn't even read the script. He just took it. He said, sure. He said he regretted it. So.
It was an alright movie. I've seen bits of it. I mean, it's just kind of like.
Now, which one is this? Is this the first one or the remake?
The first one.
The first
Okay.
one. This is the one with, I guess, the first one with Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah.
Oh, he was the he's the guy from Justified and all that.
Yeah, I thought.
He's in Deadwood, though.
Okay.
All right. We're not disputing
Pretty
that
dang
fact
sure, yeah.
with your horse nonsense.
Because Justified's a modern Western, right? So to speak.
Well, he's like
Something
a
like-
sheriff or something.
Or
like that.
he's like a U.S. Marshal or something.
And Deadwood's.
He
back
wears
in
a
the day.
cowboy hat. He has a gun.
I just remember the pilot, like for Deadwood, he tries to hang a guy, and the rope isn't working or something.
The
So
rope isn't working.
like I guess it's like too long.
This rope is broken.
I think it's too long, and so like
The guy's feet are touching the ground.
yeah, so he's like he like goes up to him, grabs him, and then like jumps and snaps his neck just to get him a successful hanging. But yeah, it's an interesting show. I like Timothy Oliphant. The Girl Next Door is in that movie. That's a great movie. So yeah,
I don't remember that.
yeah, with Emil Hirsch. Man, I might have to reach in there and get those names out.
That took a second.
Just see the smoke coming out of his ears. Is he thinking-
Yeah, I did see that movie.
Yeah.
This is like a blast from the 2000s.
Yeah, that's kind of his. He was in what is that? The Santa Clarita Diet with Drew Barrymore, and I only watched one season and that was okay.
Who? Emil Hirsch?
No. And Timothy Oliphant.
I don't know.
Bah.
I don't follow the band's career.
All right. Well, anyways,
I think
we've
all these movies
BS'd
are from the 2000s.
we
except
BS'd
movies people
around.
mention.
Hitman enough.
So we're in the top 3.
yeah. All right. Cool.
Coming in number 3, The Punisher
This should have been
with
number
Thomas
one.
Jane.
That's what I voted for.
That and John Travolta. That was a surprisingly good movie.
This is a great movie. It's a great movie. I think it's John Travolta's best movie out of the 2000s.
Probably the last 20 years. The last 20 years, probably almost maybe 30 years. But I think that would like Look Who's Talking would be in that one.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's
Great. Thomas Jane.
He played a very convincing bad guy.
Yeah. I love the. I think that he wasn't as ruthless as the comic books were, and as
I mean, it's a
especially when he-
PG-13 movie.
Especially when he sticks the
the popsicle on the guy.
Yeah,
He thinks he's being blowtorched in the back.
The real Punisher probably would have just blowtorched.
Yeah.
I mean, that scene was kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It is good. I like the characters. They were all very fascinating. I feel like they were kind of trying to figure out how to do a sequel to it. and it just never caught wind. There is a fan
made with Thomas Jane
with
in
Thomas
it.
Jane in it, and it's not bad.
It's like him in like a laundromat or something like that.
Yeah.
Then-
Some guys are picking on it, like some gang members are picking on this kid.
Yeah.
It's not bad. But I mean, obviously, John Bernthal's the new Punisher until
He dies.
until Disney decides what they're going to do with it.
Yeah.
So
Supposedly they want to keep him. They just haven't.
I want
anything
Thomas Jane
official yet.
back.
we'll do a crossover Elseworld universe thing.
That was back when like Thomas Jane was like a pretty big actor. Because he was in that.
No, I'd say
he
this
was in
is
Deep
before
Blue
it.
Sea.
This came before Deep Blue Sea, didn't it?
I think this came after Deep Blue Sea. 'Cause
Oh.
I think this came out in 2004.
Okay.
I think Deep Blue Sea was before that. Then he was in The Mist.
And Mist came later.
Yeah, Mist came later, but he was in a string of like some pretty bigger role movies.
He's still like, I'd say he's one of those like Sam Rockwell, Mads Mikkelsen, for instance. He still is like in
He's very-
specific weird movies, but he's very good at what he does.
Yeah.
You know, so he's like an underrated actor, so to speak. So
I like where he gets in the fight with
Kevin Nash.
with
the
Kevin Nash,
Oh.
and like the people he lives with come in, like they like look over. It's like he's like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "I'm fine." And he just looks down, like the guy's brains are everywhere. He's like, "He's not," and then he just falls over.
his guns everywhere.
In the trivia here, he actually stabbed Kevin Nash in the middle of that scene.
Oh, no.
While they were
accident?
filming. Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's awesome.
While they were fighting, he accidentally stabbed him. He had Thomas Jane had trained with like the Navy SEALs for 7 months. It says.
Yeah.
And while they were fighting, just out of instinct from his habits, he actually stabbed him in the chest.
Oh god.
And then
That's realism.
the scene that follows that, where he's getting sewn up by Rebecca Romaine.
Yeah.
It says here that she accidentally sewed a couple of real stitches in because she dug too far into the
Yeah.
prosthetics.
That's what they do. They'll put a 1/4-inch prosthetic thing on your body, and then like, make it look like a cut, and they train the actors just to go like skin deep, just barely enough to sew the prosthetic up, but obviously not trained well enough. So
I do like where he's fighting Kevin Nash, and he like throws the grenade or whatever at him, and like closes the door to like the bathroom.
Yeah.
And Kevin Nash is standing with a pipe and just bats it through the window right back at him. And he just goes, "Ugh."
in the bathtub.
or one of the, like it's that whole fight scene I think is hilarious. But I want to talk about just this one bit where he like hits the thing and like the revolver slides out from underneath.
Oh, yeah.
And he grabs it, and Kevin Nash just slams his hand in, picks up like a 50-pound weight, and crushes
Yeah.
the barrel. And Thomas Jane just goes, he just like looks up and goes, "Bow!" and gets punched in the face.
It actually says here that he turned down the role of Punisher twice before eventually taking it. He also turned down a role in X-Men because he didn't see himself as a superhero.
I thought he was great as the Punisher. He's,
yeah.
he's out of because
He's my favorite Punisher.
him, Ray Stevenson.
No.
I mean, that was just
Well,
that was just carnage.
it
the
says here
movie.
that after he saw the artwork for the comics and stuff, and he looked a little into it. That's when he decided, he'd do Punisher.
Because I wouldn't really consider the Punisher a superhero.
He's a
No.
vigilante,
Yeah, so.
anti-hero.
he's an anti-hero.
we gotta wrap this up.
All right, so number 2, the replacements. 5 votes.
It was funnier than I expected it to be.
Keanu Reeves,
It's just a good watching movie.
John Favreau.
Yeah, John Favreau.
He's,
You're gonna
he's
give me the ball.
funnier.
I'm gonna get you the ball. You're
Is
gonna
it
give me the ball.
Favreau
I'm
or
gonna get you the
Favre?
ball.
Is it Favreau or Favre?
Favreau.
All right.
Brett Favre is an actual person. He's a football player.
Okay. Yeah, he's funny.
Brett Favre's pretty funny.
He's
John
happy.
Favreau.
He's Happy Hogan.
Yeah.
He is Happy Hogan. For those of you who don't know what replacements is, it's a football movie, obviously about a scab team.
Yeah.
Where all the players go on strike and they bring in all these replacements. And Falco is a bit of like a redemption movie for all like the whole team.
Yeah.
Because like one of like the John Favreau, he's like on a SWAT team for like the city police department, and he's like this lunatic crazy guy when he gets mad and
Orlando.
like tackles people. So he's a great linebacker.
Yeah, Orlando Bloom's a grocery store worker.
Orlando Jones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Orlando Jones.
Not the elf from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Orlando Jones.
Times got tough after the Fellowship broke up.
Yeah, it started. What was he, robbing
Falco was
gas
like a
station or
college
something?
football player who was like in like the Orange Bowl, blew the game, and like just kind of faded away and just like working like on his boat in the middle, and then they bring him in for the team.
The worst part about
Jackman.
this movie is the names for the football teams, like the Sharks or the Chainsaws or whatever the hell
They're the
they call them.
Sentinels.
Yeah, the Washington,
Washington
Sentinels.
Yeah.
Because I think it's supposed to be about the Washington, or loosely based, the Washington Redskins
Maybe so.
scab team, because I think they won like all their games.
Oh yeah.
All right, we done. Number one.
Number 1, the Boondock Saints. 8 votes.
Yeah,
the most votes.
He got a good many.
I got my vote because that was the one I voted for as number one. Both of you voted for the Punisher.
Yeah.
I don't like the Boondock Saints.
I do.
I do.
Everybody likes that, and it's blasphemy if you don't like it. But
I like it. I like Punisher better.
I know it was written and directed by the same guy. I think it's actually the actor that's not Norman Reedus, the other guy.
Sean Patrick O'Flaherty.
Is he the one
Played
that
young Indiana Jones in the 90s?
is that the guy who wrote and directed it?
No,
Well-
I don't think he wrote and directed it.
Well, anyways, I hear he's a giant douche,
Probably.
and the sequel was horrible.
Yeah, All Saints Day was
Yeah.
not good. But the Boondock Saints, featuring Norman Reedus, Sean Patrick O'Flaherty, Billy Connolly
yeah.
as their dad, who was hilarious. Willem Dafoe.
Yeah. Willem Dafoe was the best part of the movie, hands down.
He was very, very funny. There was a firefight.
He just does his thing.
It's like his weird thing.
He's doing his
And he's just always giving that one Boston detective the business.
Yeah.
It's just, for those of you who haven't seen the Boondock Saints, it's about these two, assuming Irish immigrant twin brothers living in Boston. They work at a meatpacking plant, but they
Irish
somehow they're not Irish mafia. They're just
Well,
brothers. They're just doing stuff.
And the people they kind of fight against, aren't they Irish mafia or something like that?
No, they killed two guys from the Russian mob in a
the
bar
Russian.
fight.
Whatever. It's a bunch of dudes killing people because they feel like they have a righteous cause for it. Read some trivia, Mitch.
I haven't looked up any yet.
Yeah, what's that right there? What's that say?
Trivia.
Sir Billy Connolly was so stoked to be playing against type in the role of Two Deuce and
El Duce.
Oh,
All right. Tom, finish reading this trivia for us, please. Somebody who's literate.
Sir Billy Connolly was
it's
so
too
stoked to be playing against type in the role of El Duce and having so much fun playing a psycho with guns strapped all over him, they had to add the large cigar the character incessantly smokes because unless they stuck something in his mouth, he simply couldn't stop smiling.
That's a pretty smart idea.
Which for Billy Connolly
He's kinda crazy.
He is kind of weird. He's
Yeah,
funny,
yeah.
but he's a big stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Especially from the 70s and the 80s and the 90s in Europe, obviously in Scotland and the UK, and then he made it really big in the 90s.
He's like
here.
a national treasure to Ireland.
I like his
Scotland.
short part in The Last Samurai when he starts yelling at all the Irish or all the
The Japanese.
Japanese and they all form up in the line.
Scottish.
Is he Scottish?
He
I'm not
is
talking about
Scottish.
him. I was talking about
Yeah, but he keeps saying Irish.
whatever. Dude.
He's a national treasure to Ireland. No, he's not.
Okay, my bad. He's Scottish. All right. Is he sir? Is he
Yes,
anointed?
it just said it. He's sir.
Oh, okay, cool. Good
He
for
also
him.
played Dane Ironfoot in the Hobbit trilogy.
That's true. It was barely though. I think it might have been voice, and then they CG'd everything that was that.
They
character.
did some video stuff for
'Cause he looked horrible in that movie.
everybody. Looked horrible in that.
But I mean,
movie.
like that particular part, the Battle of Five Armies was
all of it
a
looked
lot
horrible. That's what happens when you CGI. Don't use practical effects. But his character was hilarious.
Yeah, Boondocks was okay. I think everybody should watch it. But there's some parts that were just kind of, Norman Reedus is pretty funny in it. It's kind of interesting to see that those characters, those actors, didn't do much for a while. Like Norman Reedus is just now getting traction after Walking Dead and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But and he wasn't even supposed to be in the show Walking Dead for that long.
Yeah, he was just to be like a spin-off bit, and then
No,
everybody liked it.
he wasn't in the comics at all.
Right. He's
No,
not. He's not.
he's the only one I think in the main.
I think they're going to use him as cannon fodder for some of the characters. And
He was in Blade 2 though.
Because I think when this movie came out, Sean Patrick O'Flaherty was well known because he did the Young Indiana Jones series
no,
for like several
it's
years.
supposed to be River Phoenix.
Yeah, but he died.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then Norman Reedus. I mean, that was really the only movie he was in that everybody would recognize him from.
All right.
For
Well,
a
there's our
while.
top 10.
All right.
I just wanted to cut that. You want to get to your punishment, don't you?
Might as
Yeah,
well.
You're so eager.
We're getting a
Okay.
little long-winded, so.
Well, if you enjoyed that list, and we hope you did because you picked it.
Contributed.
Please like and subscribe and comment and let us know what you want us to talk about for
And
next
we'll
week.
post that we're looking for another topic to do a top 10, and then we'll do a poll, and hopefully more of you vote. We got a lot of votes. Some only got one, some got none.
A lot of
Some
good
we
ideas.
weren't even going to entertain.
A lot of good ideas. All right. While Tom's pulling up the punishment wheel, I'll briefly explain. Each week we find horribles, movies, TV shows, and video games, and we ask the audience also to comment on some of them of the worst that you've seen or played, and Tom adds it to the wheel, and each week he spins it, and Mitch gets punished.
Pretty
All right,
much.
go ahead.
No. Oh, batteries plus bulbs ad. That's nice.
What is that?
Powerpuff Girls movie Hayden.
Why?
Which was featured on Facebook in the comments of stuff you think one of us should watch. Somebody put the Powerpuff Girls movie for any of us, so I put it in there 3 times, and you got it.
Who was this person?
I think it was your wife.
Was it really? Well, we'll have some words when I get home.
I'm just glad I don't have to watch it.
I was surprised. I thought it was gonna be me. I was like,
All right. Well, hey, I'll let you know if this movie is amazing or not.
So let me stop the broadcast. Would you like to watch the trailer, or do you want to just be disappointed later?
I'll just be disappointed later.
Nah, we'll pull it up.
Okay. You got 10 seconds. We're running late here.
No, we're not. We got plenty of time.
Glad it's not me for a 6th time in a row.
The glaring producer in the back of the room.
Powerpuff Girls the movie. That's hilarious.
When are you gonna get punished again, Tom?
I don't know. Hang on, there's an ad for Audible.
What we don't know is really he has removed his name from
I'm thinking
That's why I spin it in front of you.
He's got one line.
You did
that has
record
his
that,
name.
didn't you?
I did.
Okay. What's with the cryptic background? It's in black and white. Sugar, spice, and everything else. Chemical X. Oh no!
Is this live
I
action?
hope not.
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there we go. The professor.
That was so hard. To save the world.
You can watch it with your kids.
I could. Puff Girls.
Mojo Jojo. Jojo.
All right, cool.
I was hoping he'd say his name. And go. Mojo Jojo.
All right, well, that'll be the punishment that we review for next week.
It's not me.
Congratulations.
The streak
Mitch.
has been broken of 5.
That's all right. Well, next week it will be you for like 9 in a row or something like that. So, all right, that's goodbye from Mitch.
Goodbye,
Adios.
Mitch.
Goodbye from Tom.
Goodbye, Tom.
And goodbye from me, Hayden.
Goodbye, Hayden.
Goodbye.
That was the fantasy.